Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we'll be making this beautiful wreath, and here are some of the things you will need. So you'll need a 14-inch wreath, a hot glue gun. I got some little decor from the Dollar Tree, some mesh, ribbon, and any kind of little decorations you would like on there. Now this mesh I got from Michael's for $4. It was on sale, and I went ahead and cut them into 9 inches. Some of them might be 7 inches. This I got from the Dollar Tree, and I already cut them into 9 inches as well. And we're just going to get started. I'm going to take my pipe cleaners, which these come from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to tie them onto each of the dividers. I think there's 6 of these, and this is what's going to hold our burlap. My burlap I actually got from Walmart for $2. So I'm just going to tie it around maybe 2 times. I just want to make sure that it's secure enough to hold burlap. So here is my burlap, and I'm just going to start with a piece of it and tie it to any pipe cleaner that you choose. I'm just going to fold it and tuck it in there. And don't worry about how it looks, because you're not going to see it once you put the mesh and the bows on. Once you start putting the wreath together, you won't see it. And make sure that you put your burlap going towards the outer of the frame, as you can see here. And you're just going to take probably about 6 to 8 inches of burlap, just depending on how much of it you want it to show. And I didn't want that much. I just wanted a little bit of brown because I felt like my colors were so bright. I just kind of wanted to tone it down just a little. And I'm just going to do this all the way around. Alright, so now that that is done, I'm just going to cut the extra that's hanging from the pipe cleaners, because we don't need that. And don't worry about what color pipe cleaners you use, because you won't see it. A lot of people like to use the pipe cleaners that match the color of the material that you're using, but I just don't have time, nor can I ever find these same pipe cleaners to match everything that I'm doing. So I just use whatever I can get my hands on first, and I just roll with it. And once I cut the ends of the pipe cleaners, I'm going to cut the rest of this ribbon, the rest of this burlap as close as I can get to the pipe cleaner without ruining anything. And then I'm just going to fluff it out and make sure that all of them look even. And then you can just put this to the side until we're ready to assemble our wreath. Now we're going to get our ribbon, and I already pre-cut these just because it was easier and I didn't want to take too much time. and they're about 7 to 9 inches. You don't have to do them the same size. I literally just did it by sight and just cut it to how long I wanted it to be. But you want it to stick out of your wreath a little bit, so it's best to have them longer because you can always cut them. And these pipe cleaners I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm pretty sure they were part of the Christmas decorations, but I just grabbed any ones that they had. And I'm just going to fold them in half and cut them. I probably should have left them long just because they might have been easier to work with, but I wanted to get more out of my bag, and I only bought one bag, so I just cut them in half. Next, I'm going to show you how to begin to assemble your bundles, and I'm going to do my ribbons first. I have 12 ribbons, and I have 12 pre-cut pieces of mesh, and I think I'm trying to get organized here. I have stuff all over the table, and I was trying to figure out what's the best assembly line to get this done. So don't mind me. So you're going to take a piece of whatever color you choose to use first. I never went in any type of order because I didn't want my wreath to be unison all the way around. I wanted the colors to be mixed up. And you're just going to roll it up really tight, or as big as you want. If you want your circles to be bigger, you roll it looser. And you see my circles are probably medium. I didn't roll it too tight. And I'm just going to put it in between my fingers to use as a placeholder. And I'm going to take my next color. And I watched other people do this, guys, and I swear it looks easier than it actually is. Just trying to get this mesh to cooperate was a struggle on its own. Add that to the pack. And then my last color. Now, for some reason, yellow gives me a hard time no matter what I'm doing. And this one just wanted to stick to everything. Then it was uneven. So I was like, you know what? Let me just use the other end because I'm not about to let this mesh win. And I'm going to just roll it up like so and add it to the bunch. It's already looking pretty. So then I'm just going to take my ribbons and I'm just going to lay them on top of each other in no particular order because I'm going to make them random as I go. And then I'm just going to bunch them up in the middle, fixing my ribbon just to make sure everything is the way it needs to be. And then I'm going to take one of my pipe cleaners and tie it off. I'll probably twist it probably about 2 times. It really doesn't matter, just as long as it's secure and as long as you have some extra hanging out the back so that you can attach it to your wreath. And you just straighten the ribbon out to how you want it to look. And that's it, very pretty. I'm going to do another one just so you guys can see it again. This time I'm going to start with yellow. And I'm just going to roll it up and place it in between my fingers to hold it and move on to the next color. And then I'm going to start with a different ribbon than I started with before. And I'm just going to continue to place them on top of each other. Now this one I realized I messed up with the plaid one. As you can see, it's going straight across instead of diagonal. So when I put the pipe cleaner on, it did not hold the plaid ribbon as well as I wanted it to. So you'll see me fixing that here in just a second. Alright, once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and make all 12 of these, and then I will be right back with the next step of how I dovetail. I'm sure you're wondering how my ribbon is cut in a triangle, so I'll show you how to dovetail. So dovetailing is really simple. All you're going to do is fold the ribbon in half, and you're going to cut along the folded side upward. See, simple. Fold it, cut along the folded side, and you're going to cut upward. And I'm going to do these other two just so you can see what I mean. You fold it, the side that's folded, cut it going up. And I actually love dovetailing. I think it is so pretty once you put the wreath together. It just gives your wreath a lot more character. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to make the regular bundles, and it's pretty simple. It's the same way that we did it before. You're just not going to add any ribbon to these. So you're going to roll these up like so, place them in between your finger as a holder until you have all three rolled. And you can layer them however you want. I always try to just put the red on top, red in the middle, red on the outside, just so that when I put my wreaths together, all the reds are not in one spot. And you're just going to twist it until it's secure and just throw that bad boy to the side. Now I made about 40 of these, and as I said earlier, I made 12 of the ribbons. I did not use all of it, but it was better to have more than not enough. So I'm just going to do the same thing until I run out of ribbon. These were already pre-cut, so I'm just going to do them until I run out. All right, so now that that is done, it is time to assemble, and this is the fun part. So I'm gonna start with my ribbon, and I'm gonna put it on the two middle rings, these two right here, and I'm going to just close the pipe cleaner together. I found this very difficult with nails on, but I made it through. And there you go. So I did one ribbon and then four regular bundles, and then another ribbon and four regular bundles, and then so on until my wreath was completed all the way around. And I'm just going to complete one section up until the next ribbon, just so you guys can get a feel for how it's going to look. And then once you tie it on there, you just push them all together. We're going to come back later and fill in the extra spots, but right now you just bunch them together, and then as you see, the ribbon disappears. I'm sorry, the pipe cleaner disappears. So it doesn't matter what color you use, you're not going to see it anyway. All right, so now that my wreath is pretty much complete, I'm just going to go in and fill in any holes that I see, push some of them together just so that the wreath looks complete and you don't see any gaps. You see, I see a few gaps, so I'm just going to push them together. Also, it'll help if you play with the bundles, move some of them forward and backwards just so they can help fill in the gaps as well. This is a good time to kind of fluff your ribbon and make sure they're sticking out the way that you like them to be. And just fluff your wreath and make sure it's just as pretty and as full as you would like it. I think that's pretty. Now I'm going to use my little tool. These I got from the Dollar Tree. And I haven't decided what I wanted to do with them, but I know I wanted to put them on a wreath. And this welcome sign came from a Dollar Tree as well. So I'm going to try to put that as the centerpiece and use the small scarecrows to go on the side of it. And you just want to make sure that it's centered, and that's what you want to use. So yeah, I think I want these kind of like on the corner because I don't have enough to put them all the way around the wreath. So I figured I could put them right here on the corners and kind of make them look like friends. Yeah, that's the idea I came up with. So now that I know that that's where I want them to go, now it's time to assemble the sign. Alright, so I used my scissor, just made some slits in the back of this. One on each side just so I can have something to hold the pipe cleaners. So I'm just going to slide the pipe cleaner probably about a third of the way through and twist it together like so. And I'm going to do that for the other side. And you'll see how I'm going to stick this into the wreath just to make sure that it is secure. Alright, so once the pipe cleaners are secure, I'm going to place it on top of my wreath, and you see I'm just going to take the pipe cleaner and find an empty slot where I can just easily slide it through and it comes through on the other side. And I'm going to make sure it's centered and it's even on both sides because we don't want it flapping in the wind or hanging off or anything like that. We want to make sure it's really secure and as close to the wreath as we can get it. So that's what you're going to see me here, repositioning it, pulling my mesh from behind it just so it sits the way I want it to sit. Once it's in place, I'm going to flip it over and pull the pipe cleaners through. And then I'm going to tightly attach it to the wreath. And I'm not going to do it too tight just because if I don't like the way it's positioned, as you're going to see here, I'm going to have to come back, unravel it, and reposition it again. So I'm just going to make a couple of loops with it here just to make sure that it's where I want it to be. And then I'm going to flip it over and make sure that it's secure. So it was a little loose on one side. So I'm going to flip it back over just to make sure that it is not going anywhere. So I'm just going to keep repositioning it until it is to my liking. And then once it is where I want it, I'm going to secure it tightly to the wreath frame, as you see me doing here. And then I'm going to give it a little tug and make sure that it is not going anywhere. And then I'm going to hide that pipe cleaner so that it doesn't show. And now we're ready for our small scarecrow heads. So what I did was I took the heads off the stick because I just felt like the sticks were unnecessary. And what I'm going to do is put a little hot glue on the back of them and stick them onto the leaves that's already on the sign. Alright, so we are just about finished. I'm just going to go around my wreath and make sure everything is fluffed out. My ribbons are hanging out like I like them. And I think we are done. And this is the final product. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out my next video and you can see how I made this welcome sign that matches my beautiful door wreath. See you guys next time.